I wanna go to the moon. Don't leave so soon. Don't leave so soon. How can I get through? Sup? Break-ins. Adidas, they had nothing Adidas whatsoever. These are break-ins. Security, non-existent. No Adidas.
I work as a security guard for an alarm response company. My job consists of answering alarms for businesses and private residences. Though,
Hey, these security jobs, if I was to ever do any type of, if I was to ever have a job doing any type of security or protecting people, they'll fire me probably like day one. I probably like, because as soon as something popped off, I'm the first one out. I'm the first one running. Cause I care about my life. I do, Jesus. Cause I'm not about to risk my life. No, nope.
99% of the time, when I answer an alarm, it's something like a motion detector set off by a cat, or a restaurant that forgot to disarm their alarm before stock trucks arrived to unload. This night, I was alerted and called out to a house where a backdoor alarm was set off, like as in the alarm had detected someone opened it. The owner of the house was out of town, but she was alerted by her app and had her mother meet me there. So, of course, when I got there, I was greeted to this old woman who claimed to be the house owner's mother. I didn't think it was that weird, as this has happened a few times in the past. We then checked the door to the property that was reported to have been opened, but it was closed and locked. We figured maybe someone had tried to open the door, but it didn't budge, and that somehow set off the alarm claiming the door had been opened. We were both honestly satisfied with just leaving it at that, but that's when I noticed a bedroom light was turned on inside the house. I could have sworn that wasn't on when we first arrived. The mother, who at this point was on the phone with her daughter, explained how one of the bedroom lights was on. The daughter claimed that she wasn't sure if she left the light on or not. Now don't get me wrong, being in this field, I'm aware that leaving a light on while you're out of town is a really good idea to make people think someone's home. But in this case, she genuinely couldn't remember.
My ass, she in cahoots. Nope. Nah. See, if it was me, I would have told you. No, not at all. I did not leave no lights on. You don't want to know why? Because I don't got time or the money to be paying an electric bill out, a bill that's out the ass. My electric bill has been under $100 since I moved in. And I've been here for a few years now. I don't play about that shit, promise you. I don't.
Being honest, this really disturbed me, as like I said before, I was almost positive that light wasn't on when I showed up.
And it wasn't.
The mother wanted to check inside, though she didn't have a spare key. The daughter on the phone said the next door neighbor did, but quickly followed it up, saying it was late and they were most likely asleep, and we probably shouldn't disturb them. So
That's sus. That's sus. To have your neighbor have a spare key? Okay, that's great that you trust them. Okay, to have a, you trust them enough to have a spare key. Okay. But you don't know everybody that they know. For all we know, the person that you trusted to have a house to your, and just have a key to your house, they can be putting up a front the whole time. But Lord only knows, what they doing when y'all not at the house. Jesus.
seeing that there was nothing we could really do, I filled out my papers and went back to my normal patrol. But around an hour later, I got an alert for this same home. I opened it, and the alert was notifying me that the same door had been detected as being opened. Now, I'm the only one in my city zone, so again, I had to answer it. When I pull up, I instantly noticed multiple police officers were already there and talking to both the mother and the now awake neighbor. They were reviewing video footage sent to them by the daughter. One of the officers filled me in and showed me the footage, but what I saw was absolutely horrifying. 6 armed men wearing masks and hoodies were clearly shown coming out of the bathroom a minute after the mother and I left.
6? Oh my God.
They would then proceed to rob the place, taking anything of even slight value. And they were the ones who turned on the bedroom light. The mother told me that her daughter claimed to have experienced multiple occurrences where she would see masked men walking around in the front and backyard of her property. I never figured out how, but somehow these men were able to figure out when this girl would be out of town. I can't lie, they appeared to be pretty smart about it, obviously wanting a quiet robbery without conflict. But the videos clearly showed that these men had brought guns, so they were obviously prepared to shoot their way out of trouble if need be.
Hell no.
This makes me almost certain that if the mother had a key, or if we had woken up the neighbor for a key, we would have most likely been shot dead by these guys when we went inside. And it's not like my work gives me a bulletproof vest or anything. I mean, quite honestly, in all my time of working this job, I never really thought I'd run into a serious situation like this. If I ever have to respond to another house call, and have any reason to suspect someone is there, I am not going inside, no matter what. I honestly couldn't care less about losing this job, especially now that my eyes have been opened to how dangerous it actually can be. Every single day, I count myself fortunate that we were kept from foolishly walking into that house that night.
Six? Yeah, y'all would have been clumped up. 6?
This happened back in 2015 when I was 16 years old. It was summer, and a weekend in which both my parents went to visit some relatives out of town. I was an only child, and therefore was the only one left in the house for the weekend. My grandma did visit me every single day to make me lunch, but of course she didn't stay during the nights. Being 16, it was actually pretty nice. I would watch movies, play my PlayStation, watch YouTube, etc. It's now the second night I was home alone, and I was of course doing the usual. I mean, again, I was 16, and it was the middle of the summer, so obviously I had nothing better to do than play on my PlayStation all night. It was around 10 p.m. when I took a quick break, as I had remembered I needed to switch a load of laundry downstairs. And so I did. I went downstairs, but before I could do anything, I heard the doorbell go off. It actually startled me, as I wasn't expecting my ears to be filled with such a loud noise this late into the night. I figured being the only one home, I had to at least check who it was.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you don't. No, you don't. No. You good. You don't have to do all of that. I wish I can go into these stories and let these people know that what you doing is on some club shit. You don't have to do all of that shit.
Now, our door didn't have a peephole, so I would actually have to slightly open the door just to see.
Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. No peephole? No peephole. Okay. Bet. Then how about you talk through the door instead of just opening it like that?
Who it was. I did so, and that's when I saw some grimy looking man in a regular white shirt and dirty jeans holding nothing but a wrench in his hands. Before I could even say a word, the man explained how a power outage had taken place in the area, and that he needed to come inside to fix it. He said he was with a local electrical company, but never even gave the company's name. Like, seriously, the guy just said a local electrical company, word for word. Even being 16, I realized this was weird. I mean, there wasn't even an actual power outage, or at least not at my house. And even if there was, why would some random dude have to show up to fix it, with literally just a wrench? I just gave the guy an awkward no thanks in response, and closed the door. But before walking away, I waited for a second. I realized I didn't hear the guy's footsteps walking away after I closed the door. Though, finally, after a good 3 minutes, I could finally hear him leave. I decided it was whatever, and that I should just forget about it. I finished switching my laundry, and went back upstairs to play my game. Fast forward to around an hour later, and I realized I was getting hungry. I once again went downstairs, but again, my ears were filled with a painfully loud sound. This time it was the sound of glass shattering, followed by a door opening. I was sure someone had broken the glass on the house's back door so they could stick their arm through and let themselves in. I was beyond terrified. I grabbed a knife from the kitchen and slowly peeked my head around the corner leading to the back door. And there he was, The same man from earlier, still holding a wrench in his hands. Now, at this point he hadn't seen me, as he was going through the shelf next to the door. That's when I remembered. My phone was back in my room upstairs. I decided I'd make a run for it with the plan to lock myself in my room and call the cops. But as I got to the stairs, the man turned around and noticed me. Out of pure fear and adrenaline, without even a second thought, I threw the knife I was holding directly at him. I missed, but I guess he got scared as he ran out as soon as it happened. I would take that moment to finish running upstairs and call the cops. They would actually come pretty quickly, but seeing as the man was already gone, there wasn't too much they could do but get a description of the guy. To this day, it's still absolutely horrifying to me that in my own neighborhood, someone would try to impersonate an electrical technician just to get inside my house and do who knows what. I'm just glad I was smart enough to realize the danger of the situation. As far as I know, that man has never been caught to this day.
I don't like the fact that all these people that be doing these crimes and these murders and these bad, evil stuff, they're not caught. So they're just out here doing, God knows, doing the same old shit. And God knows, you know what else more. But like, it's just, that's not sitting with me. How you gonna have somebody that killed 900 people and is still at large? Wait, I think he's still at large. But like, that's not, like, how you gonna have somebody that does all this bad stuff but still out there? Come on.
I'm 21 and in college. I live with one other roommate in an old apartment building located only about a 10-minute walk from my school itself. Now, being that the apartment I live in is so old, they have these old school buzzers to let people in on the bottom floor. Meaning that someone downstairs at the main entrance wanting to come into your apartment has to ring your buzzer so you can unlock the door for them from a switch in your apartment once they've confirmed over the speakerphone who they are. I usually feel pretty safe in my apartment. I live on the second floor, and the most trouble we ever get are drunk students walking past to their rooms late at night. But this one experience has freaked me out so much that it will forever change the way I see this apartment. It was a Friday night, the week of spring break, and my friend was staying over. After a fun night having drinks and watching TV, we both headed to bed. She was in the guest room and me in my own room. I fell asleep around 1 a.m., but only to be woken up at around 4:15 a.m. to the sound of my room's buzzer going off. Like, constantly. Not only once, but over and over again. I waited for it to stop for at least 15 minutes, all the while the buzzer's still going off. Now, these buzzers are very loud, especially in small apartments, which only added to the general fear and adrenaline from the situation. Finally having enough, and leaving my bed, I headed over to my door to pick up the buzzer phone and see who was doing this. I thought it possibly could have been my roommate trying to get in after a night out. Hello? Who's there? As my now awake friend joined me to see what was going on, all I heard from the other line was quick, heavy breathing, and the entrance to the apartment building door being banged on repeatedly by this person. An immediate sense of dread overcame me as I slammed the phone down without unlocking the entrance door. But of course, the buzzer continued to be pressed over and over until, to our horror, we could hear the sound of the entrance door being unlocked and opened from downstairs.
Holy shit. Hell no. Hell no.
To this day, I have no idea who in my apartment building would think it was a good idea to let this dude in.
Somebody that was sus, in cahoots, or sus hoes, and a clucky. Jesus.
The next thing I heard in the building was a loud, deeply aggressive voice screaming as it was running through the hallways. The guy was literally yelling things like, "I'm gonna kill you all, you're all dead, and no one in this building is safe." I remember all the while being totally frozen in fear, locking eyes with my best friend.
Frozen,
We just stood
frozen my ass. You're on the second floor. You better hope for the best and get out the window, cause seems like your best bet. Because if you used to go out the front door, it's rats.
Listened. I would periodically look out my door's peephole and catch a glimpse of this disturbed-looking man. Throughout a good chunk of the rest of the night, the man continued saying these threats as he stomped around, banging on both the walls and doors of the rooms. I genuinely thought this man was planning to kill someone. I also felt super targeted, as this guy kept ringing my buzzer and seemingly banged on my room's door more than the others. My friend and I would of course call the police, as I'm sure many other residents in the building had. Though, for whatever reason, they didn't arrive for around an hour.
Wow!
It caused all of us to have to endure this man and his disturbing threats for what felt like an eternity. But luckily, they managed to catch the guy, who actually turned out to be an escapee from a local mental asylum in possession of a knife. The whole experience was insanely disturbing, as I truly believe the guy would have made true to his threats had someone exited the room. I unfortunately haven't found the funds to be able to find a new place to move, so I just hope something like this doesn't happen again while I'm here.
Yeah, me either. But a whole hour though? Do y'all know how many people could have been clucked up within that hour? Are you dead ass? An hour? An hour. Nah. That's ridiculous. This one right here with the no peephole and you just crack the door open slightly, you a cluck ass for that, because you could have just talked through the door. Hell no. Jesus. And shouts out to the main cluck ass of this story for letting that person in. Cluck you. Keep it cool, keep it classy, and I love you. Stay happy. My family.